Hey, everybody, it's Tim Pohanka. I am here with severe lack of talent. I am joined by
Robbie Perry.
Nick Hall.
Devlin is off today, and I will let you know that we have the pride of sharing that this group here has all been a mascot at one time in their life.
Yes.
That's the closest we got to the game.
There it is.
Closest we got to the field. You know?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's how we snuck in without a ticket.
Exactly.
So normally we start off with talking about, our escapes and our goats of the week, but let's talk about that.
Yes.
Okay, so I was a Ram in college. High school. So I wore a Ram outfit, big horns, big head, goat skin pants. But you guys?
I have been several different ones. And they all have been pretty bulky. I've been many different ones. I've been bulldogs. I've been creatures.
Now, is that like a rite of passage in minor league baseball? Like that's the first gig you get?
Oh, there's very I would say that there's very few sports professionals that haven't put on a mascot at some point. I really mean that.
Yeah.
Very few sports professionals that haven't done it. Minor league baseball especially, but I bet you at some level, all of those guys, if anybody who's worked their way up and wasn't some, prodigy, anybody who's worked their way up.
Yes. And most of the time, it's funny, it's become kind of tongue-in-cheek now because most of them are like, I've done it all. I've been in the mascot. And everyone's like, yeah. And that doesn't just go for, guys, not just males.
No, I was going to say.
Like a lot of women, especially in the minor league baseball, you just, the stat is like, I've had to be in the mascot. His wife.
Yes.
Your wife's been in the...
Oh, yeah. She has been in, I think just one mascot costume, but definitely in a mascot costume.
So, and you were...
I have been a bulldog. I have been a bear-ish. I don't know what really was. There was a gopher. Could have been a gopher. Could have been a bear. I'm not really sure what he was. But then I've also, and I go back to high school. I was a horse too.
All right, high school
mascots
as
well.
Right.
High school as well.
Rode the cheerleader bus. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
There we go.
All right, so I guess what is your favorite slasher horror story of you being the what was your quickly? What was your oh my goodness?
Never again.
Horror story.
Never again, but also like a good rite of passage story.
So it is all right. So I'm the football mascot. They have me do the basketball indoor pep rally.
Cool.
And it's now hot as holy heck. I have never been so hot in my life. And it's a mascot costume, so you can't see out of it really well because it's some ramps. So the eyes are over here, right? These mascot, and all of a sudden I hear them going. They're clapping. Hey, here's the pep team, and they're running in, and all I hear is. And by the time I turned my head, they had grabbed me.
Oh no!
It was like up in the air and up the stairs. You see the school teacher who's in charge of going, put him down. I'm going, ugh.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Just that whole, and then all of a sudden you hear, then you dunk on the ground and
grab him,
yeah.
grab his legs.
Yeah, it was like I thought, oh my God, I'm about to become a goat ripped apart.
Yeah.
So
my favorite story of me being the mascot ever, and this is something I really wish there were a bunch of people there to document it because it would have gone viral. He knows this story. I was in a mascot for the last team where I was at, and there was a big Main Street festival. And I went there, and I have a handler, and and they have a big video game truck, and there are these Army recruits playing Madden, and I'm pretty good at Madden,
Okay, hold on. Robbie's very good at Madden.
Used to be even better, not nearly as
Robbie,
good.
I can't stress this enough. He's going to be modest right here. He's very, very good at Madden.
Not nearly as good as I used to be, but I'm trying to get back there. So
you're in training.
I'm in the suit. And I come up, and of course, you can't talk. So I tap the guy on the shoulder. I'm like, point to the controller. So I pick up the controller. He's like, oh, he wants to play. I start destroying this kid. Like touchdown, going down, interception, and the guy's like, I know what he's doing, but I can't stop him. I can just story. And then I just give him the controller and just walk off.
Just
And
his
everyone,
hands off,
it was like, everyone was like, that was insane. So instead, when I got so excited and I was so disappointed because I was like, if we like took a video of it, it would have we would have gone viral.
Yeah.
And like he's just because I'll never forget. He's like, I know what he's doing, but I can't stop him. I'm gonna be the guy that tells two stories during our one story time.
Okay, we'll go for
I got
it.
a horror and a great story. So my horror story, man, at the stadium, we did these kids' days, right? So this is the days that you invite out all of the schools free of charge. They come on out, they have a good time, yada yada yada. The worst day ever in your life to be a mascot because you got 20 kids per adult. Okay, no parents. So think about how
I would even say like 50 kids per adult.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm walking down the concourse, and this is before, I guess, as a staff, we realize that there are sometimes you have to put a staff member not in a costume with your mascot.
Yeah.
The fact that you just did the whole this just led that whole thing. Like I know what's coming.
Oh yeah. So I'm walking down the concourse. I'm getting ready for my break, right? And I just hear this smack in the back. I turn around like, what was that? And everybody thinks that if you're a mascot, you're always happy in there. You always always.
I guess that smile that's painted on.
Yeah, the smile that's been. You think that this guy's in a great mood. This kid is wailing on the back of my legs with one of those wooden mini bats. He's just going at it. And I said, so I kind of did a cute little wag my finger thing, like, please don't do that. But I'm in here just fuming. I'm fuming. And so I take a few more steps. I hear it. I feel it again. And I went out and I tried to grab him, but this kid was quick. This kid was quick. He got away from me. I tried to grab him. He got away from me. But I heard him coming up again. And at this point, I'm close to tears. I can tell there are definitely going to be bruises on my back. This kid comes back, and I turn around and I grab the bat mid-swing. I yank it out of his hand, and I launch this bat across the stadium. I launched this bat across the stadium, and this kid was like, wow, that was kind of rude. I just wanted to stone cold stunner this kid.
Just flip him the bird.
Yeah, I go back in. I had 3 lines of bruises across my thigh. It was awful.
Who thought of this promotion?
That's amazing.
Terrible.
So
Terrible.
did you give away many bats anymore?
No, never again. So that was my horror story. My good story, though, we were player appearance. It was I was the mascot. I did have a handler, and we had 2 players. And we went to talk to kids. It was a summer camp about say no to drugs, say no to bullying, all that kind of good stuff. That
Especially after being beat up with
yeah.
Gotta have to say no to bullying.
So we're doing this presentation. There's this little skit that I have to do, and the team that I was with at the time, we couldn't quite. The mascot was an older suit, and the chin strap was broke. The chin strap was broke, guys. I'm for lack of a better, 40 kids in this classroom, 2 players, myself, the person who's on staff actually leading this thing, talking. I trip over my feet, which all mascots have done before. My hat goes off and is literally rolling over over to these kids, and you should the uproar. It wasn't like bad. These kids were old enough to know. Oh, obviously somebody is inside the suit, and so these kids were dying laughing. But my face was. I just looked up at them like,
It's me, Nicole.
Guess who's here?
I was just like, I gotta go. All these kids are dying laughing. And I see my head is rolling over to their feet. I just had to walk over there, pick it up, put it back on.
And, that's a good YouTube video to watch. Our mascot heads popping off, and they're trained. If these, a lot. It happens mostly in college because they're doing flips and stuff. And what they do is, if it happens, they cover their head up. Yeah. They fall, and they go like this, and then they will run and put the head back on, and they will circle. It's like they have emergency. They have emergency. Oh my God! Cover it. But I've had a kid come up and take off because the old helmet didn't have a chin strap. So if you put your head down, it's just popping right off.
And they will, man. They're just taking it and run.
Take it and run.
Kids also, man. They're just talking about these stories.
There's some guy with helmets sitting there
exactly
mounted.
The education days were the best. I was in a suit at education day, and Nick was there, and I remember most of the time we didn't need a handler because you kind of know what to do and you can escape. Well, we found out on education days you need
You
a
have to
handler.
have a handler.
And because they caught me on the stairs, like trying to sign stuff. So I'm signing, and I couldn't sign fast enough, and they kept on coming. And I was like getting pushed. Like it was about, I was about to get hurt, and like a bunch of kids were going to get trampled. And then out of nowhere, this hand grabs me, right? And it was Nick Hall who saved me. And it's like, I saw it came out of nowhere. He's like, hey, let's get you on a table. And then sure enough, I was at a table. There was a line that's crazy, just signing things.
I saw Robbie, who was in a mascot suit at the time, signing with one hand and having another hand. He was at a 45-degree angle, leaning up against the rail, and he was signing. I could just see him sinking.
And you were like, sign my hand. And I'm like,
Hey, I've been there, man. I've done that. I know what you're going through.
good times.
The funniest part for me is that I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do this mascot. It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, they decided at the beginning of the year that we had to do push-ups
Oh,
in the end zone.
No.
oh, no.
Did I mention we went to the state championship game?
Oh, no.
High-powered offense, obviously.
Yeah, high-power offense. It's like, we're out there winning 45. You're going, oh, my God.
Oh, no.
In a mat, because number one, you got to run to the end zone.
Yeah.
Okay. So by the time you get there, half the team's gone, and now you got to try to pump out 45. Yeah, it was.
I know it, Tennessee, and I remember having been a mascot throughout college at multiple different things. Going to a big school at Tennessee, I was not the mascot, but I remember watching. They started doing that as well. All the male cheerleaders did push-ups in the end zone after a touchdown for how many points we had. But then Smokey, our mascot, would roll across their backs as they were doing that. And I just remember sitting there thinking,
Wow.
nope.
No, yeah, really. Yeah. Who thought this was a good idea?
Yeah, man, and they would still just crank them out. I mean, I was like,
keep
oh
in
my
mind,
gosh.
All right. Those male cheerleaders.
Oh, talk about an athlete.
Beasts.
Oh,
Talk about
man.
athletes.
Beasts.
Oh my gosh. You kidding me?
Especially
Yeah.
SEC cheerleaders. Kentucky's like the number one, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
But they are. I remember the Kentucky cheerleader. They did this move where he flipped two girls up, like one
on each hand?
and he flipped them up and put them over. And I was like,
Someone's
oh
got to
my-
work in Cirque du Soleil when they get.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
it's like,
yeah.
That's what like. What happens?
you got to go Cirque, man. That's where you
you
got to go pro.
He's got that's
You
going
gotta
pro.
go pro.
Mascots in college, are they students? I know mascots at
Yeah,
professional
Yes,
are
yes. And
professional.
and scholarship.
Okay.
And scholarship.
Because I knew at Western Kentucky, Big Red, the big red blob, there were several different ones, and they were all students that did it.
I mean, someone may. I don't know. I mean, every place I went to one college, so I guess I can't really say that. My college experience.
I just don't understand, why is college different where they don't have money? They don't have a full-time mascot?
For what?
Like, in college they have students, and they have to change all the time. Wouldn't it be cheaper if they just went like the pro route and had one full-time mascot? Well, I guess they have to be.
What are you gonna do for us? Those of us who went to high school, we were mascots. We had to get something, man. Man, we're trying to go pro.
Wouldn't it be easier instead of giving scholarships to players if we just hired professionals?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's another.
Whoa!
That's what
Look at us solving the world's problems.
You guys are preaching to the choir here.
Yeah, I will tell you, if I can go back and find a photo, I'll bring it in. But yeah, it was. I mean, the other part that was great, and you got to admit this, the anonymity factor.
Oh yeah.
Is the best.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it's also funny too. One thing that I said a little bit ago is everybody just infers that mascot's always smiling and happy in there. Man, you really learn how to not even open your eyes for pictures. You're just sitting there like
Dead
pictures.
inside.
Pictures to me were the best time as a mascot. It was my break.
Yeah.
All I had to do is sit here like this or sit here like this and just I closed my eyes and took a few deep breaths, catch my breath. It's the one time you got for that.
I want every time the mascot's in for the first time, he or she is smiling. It's like,
Yeah.
and then later, after the 100,000th time you're taking a picture, your face is literally stone cold. And everyone's like, "Cheese," and you're like.
And you got to get used to these great hand motions.
Oh
like,
yeah. No, it's literally like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there going, I don't care. I'm too hot. Now, the
dying
worst
inside.
part, though, is, I was in mascot for fall football. Cold, nice
that's not
time.
so bad, though.
It's not so bad. The first couple games, a little hot. They're night. Day game baseball.
Oh yeah, baseball has to be tough, and then also, I mean, really the first half of football season, you're playing you're a mascot in August.
Yeah.
That's still hot.
That's hot.
still hot.
Yeah, in Florida, the humidity.
All of our our watchers are now going, these guys have proven they have
Yeah.
One
no talent whatsoever.
or they're smart and applying to be mascots.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, now that I know that all professionals, in sports at some point in time have to be the mascot, I feel like I can go, well,
I really mean it. I really mean it.
I've hit the prerequisite. I have been the mascot. Go ahead and put me in front office,
one step closer,
coach.
huh?
That being said, the mascot, being a mascot at times is also awesome.
Oh no, I would have not traded
it's
for the
also
world.
awesome.
I enjoyed even getting trampled was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just one of those things where
It's true.
I mean, when
Yeah.
you think about it, maybe not getting belted by baseball bats. I'm gonna
specific
I'm gonna
story.
guess that getting bludgeoned is probably
But
bad.
so especially when you realize you don't have to do that much and you just completely made a kid's day.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, and,
it's pretty
the
awesome.
fact that you can get the fans excited and that you feed off that energy. I mean, no, I had a great time doing it. I mean, riding the cheerleaders bus was fun too.
Yeah, man, I
Because if I've been on the football team's bus on the one loss.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh, our coach.
Well,
that
speaking
coach
of-
that coach was mean.
And speaking of the anonymity that you were talking about,
Say that one fast.
yeah, that's a tough one. The ability to be whatever personality you want inside that
yeah.
mascot suit.
Yeah.
It's so great. You can be whatever you want.
Yep.
And get away with whatever you wanted to.
I mean,
You
to
literally
an
could get
extent,
away
yes,
with
yes.
just about whatever you want.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You wanted
yeah.
to, you wanted to go up to someone in the stadium and just take their hat off and knock
Literally,
it off.
and
Yeah.
throw it onto the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
You can't, and everybody loves you for it.
Oh yeah, it was so
And in
cool.
reality, you were like, screw that guy.
I didn't like you when it came in. I like you get to have that, and if you have that fun, so it's kind of cool. All right, gang,
do
enough
it.
fun about our mascot days. I was crying. You had me crying with
That was
beat
funny.
up.
The
did.
bat one was
and
amazing.
every time if you do mini bat giveaway day, I am just so gonna be there and track you down.
That's great.
And go to poor Gus and go. You have no idea what's in store
Yeah.
for you.
Good luck.
You're next.
Nick set you up for Hayes and you just didn't know it. He also invited a whole bunch of kids over and gave them pixie sticks and Red Bull.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. 'Cause that's the thing. They're all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
That's when you sit there and you find out it's mini bat day and you're in the mascot costume. You go right to the soda machine, start cutting all the lines. All right, you want to start us off with your goat, man?
Yeah, so we'll start with my goats. I'll do my goat first and then the scapegoat. So my goat are kind of MLB playoff streaks. And the opposite, because you've had some ones that were broken, then you've had some ones that are still going. So I'm going to go with the streak that is still going, and it is the Minnesota Twins. They have lost 18 straight postseason games. The Minnesota Twins have lost 18 straight games.
Wow.
And
How many
and
sweeps is that?
It's incredibly bad.
it's so
Well,
bad.
it's all going to be 5-game series that obviously didn't make it to the second series.
Yeah.
so
And there was a comment.
3 at
There was a
time.
comment about it, and I can't remember what the funny comment was.
Well, this is
Is that's being swept 6 consecutive series
they've
playoff
lost
appearances in a row?
They haven't won a games like in years.
I
But
mean, yeah, from back to Kirby Puckett time.
But this is my favorite stat about it. And the math checked out. If you started with $100 and you bet against the Minnesota Twins first game, and you rolled the money over and you're betting against the Twins every single game, all 18, you would be up to $2.4 million. And then to also, on the opposite side of streaks, the Oakland A's and the Braves both won their first playoff series. The Braves won they're moving to the second round for the first time since 2001, which is crazy.
It's such a historic franchise.
I mean, yeah, they're in the playoffs all the time. So the fact that they didn't make it, that was the first time winning's crazy. And then the Oakland A's won for the first time since 2006.
Moneyball, baby.
Yeah, so credit. So I found myself, I think I'm going to be cheering for the A's. I don't know if they're going to make it, but I like both those franchises, so that was pretty exciting for me. And also, it's just those kind of storylines are so good. Kind of the opposite of what happened to the NHL. I know we're going to get it to later, but those kind of playoffs teams that are kind of going on a run, I think is good for the
I
MLB
agree.
playoffs.
I agree.
Well,
Well, Atlanta also too different than which we'll get to in a little bit, but Atlanta is going to be different than that because That's one of the biggest although they haven't won in 20 years, one of the biggest fan bases.
Yeah,
in the
like
country.
everywhere
Huge.
on Facebook, it was like I saw it. I said the first time I saw it was that they won in like the first time in 19 years. I was like, that can't be right. I looked it up, and sure enough, it was the first time they
once
won.
Schmaltz and Maddox and Glavin went away. I mean,
But they're in the playoffs a lot.
They are in the playoffs a lot.
How in
But
the
there was-
world?
it's been a while
A few
since
years
those
ago,
guys.
that play-in game with the Cardinals and the infield fly ruling
Yeah.
at the end. That was
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
call, huge call.
So you did see, I forget which one of the guys it was on the Astros, because I know a lot of you don't think we should be here, but we are.
Well, they played the Twins. You know, they
But
played
we
the-
are.
Yeah,
Correa.
Correa.
Was it Correa? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and he's like the worst one out of all of them. And he said, "Oh, who's laughing now?" And it's like, dude, we all hate you. You know, like you guys are the worst. Like, you guys were 29 and 31. Okay,
They made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs because the MLB decided that half of the league gets in this year.
That is true.
You
A
know?
lot of these teams, the only reason they're in is because of that.
I mean,
Yeah. I sat there like going, yeah, that's not going to make anyone like you anymore.
yeah, there have been some good games though. I didn't watch as much play out, but I'm gonna definitely watch the second.
Gosh,
round,
if you
so.
want some offense, this Cardinals-Padres series.
Yeah.
Have you guys see
Oh.
this going on right now?
Oh,
if you want
good
some
game.
offense.
Good game.
Two good games. Two good games. I mean, what was it? 8-6, and this last one 11-9. If you want some offense, here we go.
Yeah.
Who thought we'd be using the word Padres
Well,
in the playoffs?
well,
his name?
it's a.
Todd- what's
I'm going to
his name?
throw this out there. I'm going to go on my Padres rant real quick. It's about time. They've had the #1 farm system in baseball for the last decade. So it's eventually it was going to have to pan out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
And they're good. And
you sit there
What's
and
his
like,
name? Tatis? Is that his
Fernando
name?
Tatis Jr.
Gosh, he's good.
He's real good.
Yeah.
And a great personality.
Yeah,
too. He's somebody
great.
you can cheer
His
for.
bat flip. Oh
yeah,
man,
oh yeah.
he's
Somebody
yeah.
you can cheer for me at least.
Yeah. So my escape, and this is something that I am really disappointed in.
okay.
Okay, so I'm really disappointed. My scapegoat is the NFL, basically in-season COVID testing, like procedures, policies. So what we've been hearing all off-season and leading up is basically the team that handles COVID the best is going to be the team that wins. We saw it on Hard Knocks. We saw it like coaches were saying, and they were basically. So what they were giving out the field, the NFL basically said, "Hey, the show goes on. You know, we're going to expand practice squads. We're going to have all these elements in place. So if someone gets sick, the game is still going to go on. If you can't play, then it's going to be a forfeit." That's literally what I was thinking. Because, I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, but I'm also an NFL fan first. Okay, you got to protect the shield. You got to protect the integrity of the league. The Titans, they had a bunch of people that two more got tested positive today. So I think they have 7 players that got tested positive. And the NFL, the Titans completely shut down their facilities. They're supposed to play the Steelers on Sunday. So my whole thing, and it was basically like, okay, try to push the game to Monday or Tuesday. If you can't do it, Titans are going to have to forfeit the game. It sucks, but 2020 sucks. This is the way it is, okay? And maybe they're not being irresponsible. Stuff happens, but it just shows that, hey, everyone has you forfeit your game check and you move on. Okay, and if you really do that, then players it would hit them even more. Like, okay, like who knows how it happened? Maybe it was a spouse or something. But the problem is that, I mean, one loss that sucks. I mean, if you're a Titans fan, that would suck. But instead, what the NFL did is that they're pushing the game to later in the season. So now suddenly
They pushed it to Tuesday.
Well, no, they
postponed
originally
it to week 7 now.
Yeah, they postponed it to week
Okay.
7. So now what you're doing is you're punishing the Steelers. You're giving them a week 4 bye when they're completely healthy.
Yep.
And then you're also giving the Titans basically a bye before they play the Buffalo Bills. So now you're making 2 teams you're punishing basically 2 teams that aren't related to the Titans. Now you are taking away the Steelers bye later in the season, and you're moving the Raven. Now they're playing the Ravens in their bye in the Titans game. So you're punishing the Steelers for something that It's not their fault.
Now, there's a few scenarios where this might not come to fruition. So for those out there who aren't familiar with this, the Titans this past week have had 7 or 8 now positive tests throughout their camp. So that could be players, coaches, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
actually,
personnel and players.
It's personnel and players. The NFL, in my opinion, is doing a good job. There's no reason for us to know exactly who it is.
100%.
I said that all the way back when Ezekiel Elliott tested positive for corona back in what, like February, March?
Yeah.
Way at the beginning.
Yeah.
So a few things. Right now, what they're doing is that it just so happens that these Titans and the Steelers have similar bye weeks in Week 7. And so what they are doing is if they're taking the bye week now, the Steelers-Ravens matchup, who originally had the Week 8 bye, will be now during Week 8. Mm-hmm. And the Steelers and Ravens, who were matched up on Week 7, have now cleared their schedule to make way for this Titans Steelers matchup. So that's the kind of puzzle that they've done. Now, the only way that this works, and the NFL has said this, is if the Vikings do continue to not test positive.
And as of yesterday,
it's today and tomorrow that a positive test would start to show if they got the COVID from the Titans-Vikings matchup this past Sunday. They have said if that happens, then they're not moving any scheduling around, and the Titans would have to forfeit.
Yeah, that only works for one team.
Yeah.
One time.
This is
exactly.
That's the thing.
It only works one time. After that, it's a house of cards.
That's my whole thing. Is that okay? 2020 sucks, but like, it just shows that the NFL, it's been all bark, no bite with their in-season, like, positive tests are going to happen. They're going to happen.
Look,
if your whole policy,
they have been incredibly lucky to go from training camp to where they are right now with virtually nothing. So, hats off to them and the teams and what they've been doing. Now we're going to see what's happening. I think they've done a fairly good job. I thought it was going to go this far.
Right.
To be honest with you, I thought for
you've
sure.
heard me say it.
Yeah.
I thought, to go as far as they've gotten to, 4 weeks in, and plus all of training camp.
But like you said, if this is your policy, said, we're going to try to rearrange it. Well, that means what happens to the Titans or the Steelers if it happens later in the season? What are you going to do?
But I think to try, if they can make the adjustment easily right now for one team, and that's a one-off, that's what you do. But let's be fair. If it's not, they know it's gonna. They're gonna have to say, "Hey."
I do think the only way to be fair is look, the Titans forfeit this game.
Yes.
That's the only way to be fair, because how come the Titans get a pass for getting sick early, but in 2 weeks the I don't know, I can't think of it.
Steelers
The Steelers get sick, and now they have to forfeit.
Or the Ravens, for that matter.
Where are we at with that? So the one thing that I think the NFL needs to realize, because I agree with you on this, Robbie, that they're handling this poorly. The one thing that I think the NFL needs to realize, and fans in general need to realize, is that it's 2020. This season is impossible to be perfect.
Yes.
You saw it in the NBA. You saw it in the NHL. You saw it in the MLB. The NFL is not immune to the Rona.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes down to it, they're not. It's not going to be perfect. And
it's like 2020's got that you talk about the referees having an impact on the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ronan.
The perfect is the enemy of good in this scenario. If we're trying to make this perfect, trying to get every team to have all 16 teams, next thing you know, this season won't be good.
Yes.
At least we can still salvage some good by just being hard on, not necessarily hard, but hey,
fair.
Let me take you guys one step further. Wild card game.
Yeah.
Is that a forfeit?
I think that's when
championship game. Is that a forfeit?
I think that's
Super Bowl.
That is where I don't know how I feel about that. That's where you would have to. I think you would have to push the games back.
What if playoffs for everybody else?
We're last game of the season, and this game is what's going to make a difference. One team's potential coronavirus not play could affect 5 other teams.
I
rather than make
I
them,
could see a playoff bubble though.
Yeah, I could see a
But I'm
playoff.
not the
bubble.
playoff bubble. What I'm talking about, we're talking about the game going in. We're one game going in.
Yeah.
We're down to the last games, and one game can impact the entire football grid. What do you do?
But is that it? 2020.
It's
COVID sucks.
Yeah,
It's not fair to anyone what's going on, and it's clearly if the Titans, if they forfeit game, which looks like they're not doing, unfortunately, and the Titans miss the playoffs by 1 game, it's because they had to forfeit a game. It sucks, but it is what it is.
Robbie, it is what Robbie. You set it up there.
Yeah.
All right, Nick. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I have 2 good ones. I'm going to start with, man, I really, really am enjoying making my scape and my goat this week. I'm going to start with my goat. Okay, I'm going to start with my goat. My goat this week is Skynet.
Okay.
The same Skynet that takes over the world in the Terminator series. That is my goat this week, and here's why. The Falcons have announced a partnership with Lucid Drone Technologies. And what they're going to do is be using 2 drones to clean and sanitize the stadium after events. The Carolina Panthers have done what they are calling, they've acquired what they are calling a germ zapping robot, according to their president, Mr. Glick. Okay.
Mr. Glitch.
So all I'm saying right now, without too much more detail, is that in a post plague world, we are now having relying on drones and zap happy robots, guys. The end is closer
Well, I don't know why.
than it's ever been.
Why don't you have one? I mean, for your stadium, that's we'll start with right there. I mean,
We don't want it to kill us.
Well, yeah, we're going to be last when Skynet takes it over. Arnold's going to have to come to us very last.
We've seen the
knock
movies.
us
We
out.
know what happens
I
next.
yeah,
gotta be back.
It's scripted.
I had a
It's scripted.
conversation with a congressman about. He was telling me about something about some technology that was out there at a function, and I go, "Did you guys ever watch Terminator?"
Yeah, right?
That's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like how many movies do we have to make that
Yeah.
are this literal thing? You're giving robots. They call them a zapping robot. Okay, you're just gonna go around and zap people.
Yeah.
You have COVID.
Yeah.
One wrong code right now, and this thing's coming out during the game and tasing Patrick Mahomes.
There you go.
Move on to my scape now. So my go to the week was Skynet. My scape is just NHL fans. And guys, I'm really sorry. You guys are 2 of the biggest NHL fans that I know. And we have a sports talk show. And for at least the last month, you guys, during playoffs, leading up to the Stanley Cup Championship, in my opinion, up there with the Lombardi Trophy as the greatest trophy in all of sports in the world.
Oh, it's the best.
But you guys have been silent about hockey.
Yeah.
So I'm not blaming you guys.
No.
Are not my scape. My scape is all NHL fans.
Yes.
I think they're all feeling
It was.
it's storyless teams
Yes.
have made it out of the first and second round, and not just storyless team, but in the grand scheme of things, small market teams. The NHL got really boring, and unfortunately, this was after so much great hype about sports returning. They were the first, along with NBA, to announce their return, and then they come back, and it was within the beginning of playoffs. It was hype.
It was awesome.
Second round of playoffs, it was like, okay, most of the great teams are gone. By the third round, it was like, all right, so when is opening day on playoff?
Well, just to let you know, that is in December, and I've already got my calendar marked. So we've already been telling. It's like 84 days to Christmas and the start of hockey season.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and it was, the Stanley Cup. The quality of hockey was good, but it was just.
It felt like watching Cage.
It was just so. Bleh.
Tampa won the Stanley Cup.
Dallas. It's Tampa and Dallas. Who cares?
By the way,
25 fans are going crazy.
Severe lack of talent. We would like to congratulate Tampa Bay for winning the Stanley
good
Cup.
for them.
Great job.
Well, we've already lost the Tampa market because we made fun of the Braves, so it's not like that's that big a deal. If anyone's watching, I don't know why.
Also, just early on, like you were saying, Nick, the storylines were awesome, and
They were.
and they were big time fan bases. You know, we had the Caps, we had Toronto, we had all
Penguins.
these, Penguins.
Yeah.
But the Penguins lost in the.
It was the play-in.
Yeah, the play-in.
The play-in is what I think is what just it sucked the air
It
out.
sucked the quality of hockey was always really, really good. So credit to the players for bringing it. But the storylines sucked.
I think the other part is that basketball, because of all of the civil unrest that's going on, got a bigger push in the media.
Yep.
Because of what they were doing and all of their
And I get that, but
their
the
social justice programs they were doing. I mean, what's hockey going to do? I mean, half the people aren't from this from the country.
I think a big part of that, though, is also what teams were advancing.
100%.
When you look at basketball, the best of the best did advance, and I'm not saying that.
Oh, no, without a doubt.
hockey
I mean-
didn't.
I mean-
but we still have LeBron and AD to watch. Right?
I was going to say if the Lakers had lost, I think it's safe to say that
it would have been the same.
It would have been. It would have been a little bit more. It probably would have been as much of a letdown.
It would have. Yeah, but I
especially
watched.
if it was against the Heat.
That's
It's
what
still
I'm
the
saying.
greatest.
Heat,
It's
I
still
mean,
the
yeah.
greatest trophy presentation.
I
sport.
No doubt.
I watched the full NBA finals, and it was just with NBA without fans hurts a lot.
Yeah,
Basketball
hurts.
without fans. I mean, think
Well,
about
I
it.
mean,
When you watch.
I mean,
But hockey, yeah, you want fans, but it's not same thing with baseball. You want fans, but it's
Yeah,
not like it's a totally different sport.
Well, in
But
hockey, they don't
basketball, when they take when the ref takes a second to call block or charge,
yes,
and
yeah.
the whole place erupts, or like someone makes like a buzzer beater, it's just not the same.
I do
Hockey
think
doesn't.
football is very
Hockey
similar to
doesn't
that.
show the fans in the game. Basketball,
yes.
you've got the crowd and the foul line.
Everyone's
waving.
right there,
You've
yeah.
got the when the guy hurdles the bench and he's in the crowd. You've got Mark Cuban yelling from there.
Yeah.
So you do see more of them. Now, if you're going to a hockey game for that fan experience,
For sure.
that's a whole different ballgame.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
But I will, but when you look at what basketball has there, they do have the crowd. And I have been to a Wizards game when there is nobody there, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
it
so
is.
you've been to a Wizards regular season game? Is what you're
It
saying.
is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. I mean, when I say, I have season tickets to see the Capitals. You go to a Capitals game on Friday. Someone tells you, "Hey, you got to go to a Wizards game. I'm going to a Wizards game, and go to a Wizards game on Saturday," and you're like, "This is the same stadium."
Yeah.
It is quiet. There's not not that sea of red, and people are going to the basketball game to talk. People are going to the hockey game to watch,
Yeah,
or for the Wizards game when there's no one there.
I've always said this as somebody who's been to all the types of sports. As a fan, basketball, they do the worst job, in my opinion, of keeping you engaged. Mm-hmm. As a fan, hockey does do the best job
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
of keeping you engaged. And everybody else falls in line on that sliding scale somewhere. I think, in my opinion, football, the NFL, is pretty low as well.
NFL is horrible.
However,
Yeah.
college football is really high. It's kind of
college
weird how that
football,
works.
yeah.
The two footballs are on opposite ends of
Yeah.
the spectrum.
The NFL just relies on the product, the football, and they rely on it only.
An
So
in-game
does MLB.
experience is commercials,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the
commercials,
same thing.
commercials.
Yeah.
Now the NFL, though, if your team is winning, I mean, it's the best atmosphere because it's like,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna go celebrate in the parking lot, you know.
It isn't. I don't think it. I mean,
From a Bills perspective, yes.
I was about
Yeah.
to say,
Every team's
yeah,
not like that.
Yeah,
well,
that's
because they're
true.
drunk because they're cold.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So cold. I mean, that's I'm never going in November again.
They're
Ever,
cold.
ever,
It's cold.
ever.
I don't think it's fair to even compare a Bills game day atmosphere with the rest of the NFL.
Maybe
There's a couple.
Maybe Chicago.
Yeah,
Well, there are. I'm saying that there are a couple, but I mean that's the handful compared to the majority.
Like I've been to many Titans games, and Titans games aren't bad fans, but it's night and day
the
difference.
atmosphere is
It's
not-
night and
it's
day
just not
difference.
Seattle fans are crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would love to go to a Seahawks game.
Crazy. I've got friends up there, and they were talking about just how wow that stadium gets, and you look at it and you go, it's open air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it get so? It just gets loud.
Well, you know what used to have diehard crazy fans?
It's Washington.
Washington Redskins.
I remember back in the day going to games and being in the stands when the stadium actually shook.
Yeah.
There was a section of the stadium that it was designed to roll, to convert from baseball to football, and it was on shock absorbers. And once the crowd started jumping, the whole stadium was going.
They were top 5 fan base.
It was
and
crazy.
they were probably bottom 5 now.
It was
so
it was
sad.
crazy good. It was crazy
Yeah.
good to go to a game. Then it just became. Yeah. All right, so my escape. COVID-19 and the asterisk season. That is the Washington Nationals baseball game. I mean, we were absolutely robbed of a championship celebration. Then we were robbed of half the players in our team. This was the worst title defense I've ever seen. As far as I'm concerned, anyone who wins 2020 in this case gets an asterisk now.
Whoa. This is night and day compared to where we've had this talk so many times, and Tim has said no. Anybody... I would. We can go back on these and watch.
I want you. That's still my tongue in cheek when I say
Yeah.
that. But when I say this, oh my God, this was terrible.
Oh, we were one of the worst teams in the league. I mean, it was. But I also think even non-COVID, I think it was going to be a bit of a rebuilding year. I really do.
I don't know, but it just felt like a big balloon, and then someone came by and goes,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was as much of a letdown, but like you knew it was going to happen.
but we didn't even get to celebrate it. Like
we can still in 2021. We're going to celebrate.
I think we will.
Yeah,
I think we will.
2021. If
I
they
will
don't
say-
have a
I'm getting ready to go
out
out to your stadium sign that says baseball coming, and I'm about to spray paint a 1 on it that says inaugural season.
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know. If you go out there and there's red spray paint on it,
That's you.
I did it.
I still go back. My opinion hasn't changed. Will there be an asterisk on this season? I think it depends on who you cheer for.
I
still think it does.
I think at the end of the day, no one's gonna. I mean, we're gonna go back. We're just gonna go back. But I mean, it just was just. Ugh. So,
I think the NBA, the NHL, because they played most this season. I don't know if that's gonna be an asterisk. I do think the MLB will have an asterisk on it.
It's a completely different year.
They played 60 games.
Yeah, it's been a bad season.
Roughly a third.
I mean,
of
it
the
hasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel good for the team. Happy for the teams that are there.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
But, I mean,
Credit to them.
Baseball is designed to be that sport that just it's long, brutal.
Marathon.
It's just long, brutal.
Yeah.
And you have teams that get hot, they get cold, they get hot, they get cold. And this one, if you got cold,
You're screwed. You're out.
yeah, I mean, you have a 3-game losing streak. That's like losing like 10 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Literally 9 games. Yeah. So.
it is what it is.
So
But, I mean,
good. Good for the teams, and I'm glad that remember, guys, the MLB in August was very close to canceling.
Yeah.
So
well, they were on again, off again. I mean, it's
good for them to get it together.
They
but
got together, but yeah, it was just still as a fan.
I haven't watched, and I know this is bad, but I haven't watched one MLB game this year.
Neither have I.
Yeah.
I've watched. I'm
gonna watch the playoffs. I'm gonna watch the
watched-
second round.
I'm watching the fast forwarding through the plays at the end. Like, oh yeah, it was a good job.
Oh, I've watched the playoff games. That's all so far.
Yeah.
All right, for my GOAT, I'm gonna go hardcore on this one.
Here we go.
Being a dad, I'm gonna go with Marlon Humphrey's father. So if you didn't see the article, it was out. He gave an interview and they were talking about. He was talking about after he signs this $99 million contract. They got a call from his dad after an away game asking about the pizza that he ordered. He's like, what? He goes, and basically like, I didn't order the pizza. One of my buddies on the team did. What are you letting a buddy order your pizza for? You don't account. And he's like, and it goes in this bigger thing is my dad's got my back financially. But then went on a longer rant about the fact that his family's been there for him the whole time.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that, when you've got people who do have your back, you're going to do really well. And you're grounded and you've got the right things. I think that dad and that family being that hardcore with him, yeah, you can think helicopter parent or, oh my God, pizza, man, what are you worried about?
It's funny.
It starts there, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it does.
He's not going to let him invest in, Skynet.
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
Skynet is the perfect time to invest.
Because I will tell you, we've known some professional players, and you've known professional players, and they tell you some of these things that they're going to be investing in, and you go,
I will never
What?
forget. There is a 30 for 30 that literally talks about this, and Herm Edwards is a big one in it because Herm Edwards actually gives a lot of the financial advice to rookies. And I remember Herm
broke.
Edwards. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Broke.
It was like, hey, I want everybody all of you. It was like 20 guys, all had huge contracts, to come up with what you want to invest in, and let's be smart about it. And one of the guys actually came up to Herm Edwards and goes, I know what I want to invest in. Tomatoes. He said, what do you mean you want to invest in tomatoes? He goes, think about it. Think of how many things tomatoes are in. You could hit them on cheeseburgers. You could put them in ketchup. He just listed, and like that's not how. So yes, it doesn't surprise me. So like, when you have a support system that doesn't let you invest in tomatoes, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not even that. I've listened to these guys talk about these financial things that they're investing in. I'm going, you're doing what?
Yeah.
I mean, these are projects that are like,
Their cousins.
yeah,
and
they
they
their
didn't know they had.
And I'm going, you're investing in a scheme that does what?
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, we're drilling for water in the desert.
It's going to be big.
It's going to be huge. It's like going to create a whole new Vegas in this one part. I'm like going,
Okay.
oh, just,
Yeah.
and they get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
for sure.
Well, 100%.
And they don't realize they're not guaranteed contracts. And it's just nice to see someone sit there and go, okay, son.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I watched, Marlon Humphrey's interview, and he started getting choked up, and he said, so much of the credit goes to my dad. He said, because, when I was young, and he's, and not just in sports, but he was also talking about sports, but he said he never let me slip up.
it's just what the role
He
model's supposed to
demanded
be.
excellence, basically, and I think, that's pretty awesome, where, if you're a dad or, just anyone in a family, and you see the potential, and then when you see them not reach that potential, to have the courage to basically be like, hey, son or brother or whatever, hey, you have potential for greatness, but if you keep on doing this, you're not going to get the money that you deserve. You're not going to make it to the level that you want to be. So for him, for his dad, credit to his dad, but also credit to Marlon Humphrey for also recognizing his dad's, kind of efforts and everything. So.
It's just nice to see. I mean, he credits his whole family, and I think that's it's great for them to realize that there is a positive support net for some of these guys who are out there, and these contracts aren't just going to be these things that they're. I mean, who was it J.R. Reed, pitcher for the Astros? They found him underneath he was a fireball pitcher, and they found him underneath an overpass. And it's just stories like that left and right.
There's a story that came out this week. Delonte West, old NBA player, made over $20 million, I think $19-20 million. He used to play for, the last team he actually played for was the Dallas Mavericks, and he barely played for him. But now he's homeless. He's a drug addict now, and they find him walking around asking for money at gas stations and just completely, like, his life has fallen apart. And when you look at him, you can tell that he crack cocaine, meth. I mean, he is clearly. And Mark Cuban he was at a gas station, Delonte West was, and Mark Cuban came and picked up Delonte West in his own car and drove him to a rehab facility. And is paying for the.
Man, is Mark Cuban going to buy the Washington football team or not?
That'd be awesome.
You know what?
I want it so bad.
That'd be awesome.
You have to like him or not. Anyone who likes him or hates him or whatever it is, you got to admit he's class.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And and I just think it's.
His heart's in the good right place. Obviously,
it clearly is. The sad part for anyone who goes pro, who comes from no money, nowhere, and you said it. They have people coming out of the woodwork who want them, and they do go through these classes. But I mean, it's just not enough. It's just not enough. So I think it's great that we see that. So, bully for them. I'm excited. It's a good goats, good scapes.
Yeah.
We're excited.
We're good.
All right, gang. So we got our telestrator up here.
All right.
Okay, so let's see if we stick it right over here. Maybe it'll hold up. Oh well, we'll just hold it. Yeah, we'll just hold it. So we're going to start keeping track of our top 3 and our bottom 3.
Love it.
But before we do, actually, we'll put it down here real quick. We got a few minutes here before we start that. I want to ask you guys, who is the most overrated 0-3 team?
Underrated 0-3, overrated 3-0.
Yeah.
Can I pretty please pick 2 overrated 3-0s?
I mean, there's not that many, so go
Well,
ahead.
it's a cop out to say the Bears.
Okay, so you're gonna go with Chicago.
Obviously, Chicago.
Okay.
But let's first. What are our options? So for the viewers out there,
I mean, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, Tennessee, Green Bay, and Seattle, and Chicago.
And whoa, you're Buffalo Bills.
Oh, I
okay?
forgot about that.
Whoa,
I know.
hey.
I wonder why I
Whoa,
forgot.
hey.
I wonder why I forgot the Bills.
Assault.
I think. Am I correct in saying are we all on the Bears? If there's no way
Yeah,
they can
for sure.
sustain this,
For sure.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a 3-0 team to not make the playoffs, I'll actually bet money that it's not going to be the Bears. Still, I will literally put a bet down that the Bears won't make it. Not even out of the 3-0 teams,
Okay.
but I will bet you the Bears won't
And
make
Robbie
the playoffs.
can tell you what that bet will win you.
Yeah, he probably sure could, couldn't he? Couldn't he?
All right, what about Tennessee?
Well, they'll have a loss probably soon because they're going to forfeit a few games.
Tennessee's was probably my number one. They've
Okay,
played. They barely beat the Jaguars. They barely beat the Vikings, and they barely beat the Denver Broncos. So,
If I had to rank them, they would both definitely be there, but then next would be Pittsburgh.
So now you got 0-3. You got Houston, you got the Jets, the Giants, and the Vikings.
Okay.
Houston's going to make the playoffs. Houston's played.
You think Houston?
Yes. I
You
agree.
think
Yes. Houston has
They're
played the
talking about
Steelers.
benching.
No, I have not heard that.
Houston is
Look at the 3 teams they've played. They have played the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Steelers.
yeah.
We should cut them some slack.
They
That
will
sounds
make the
good.
playoffs. They will make the playoffs.
So you heard it here.
And I think they were, I don't know if the rate, but they were winning. They were beating the Chiefs and they were beating the Steelers.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins just enjoying his check.
The Vikings are bad.
I mean, he's just enjoying
Vikings are
his-
a bad football team.
Yeah, Vikings are bad.
Now, granted, I think that we should also add on to this list 2 teams that are also winless, but not 0-3. You also have the Bengals and the Eagles, both winless at 0-2-1 right now.
Yeah, they're just bad.
The Eagles stink.
The Eagles are a
Carson
bad
Wentz
football team.
is
So I'm going to throw
horrible.
this out there. I think if you added those 2 on there, I think that the Houston Texans, I agree with Robbie. I think that they're going to make a playoff push. The best team, the rest of them will not make the playoffs, first of all, throwing that out there. But the best team out of the remaining 5 that we've mentioned, between the Giants, Jets, Vikings, Bengals, and Eagles, the best one out of them, mark my words, is the Bengals.
Bengals, yeah, Bengals. I mean, they were close to beating the Browns. I mean, the Browns are 2-1 somehow, the first time since I think 2011.
Well, timeout. Just like we were criticizing Houston for their schedule, and that's why they're 0-3. Let's remember that the Browns' 2 wins right now are the Bengals and the Redskins.
Yeah, well,
The Washington football team. I apologize,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, we should make you put money in the swear jar.
Yeah.
I should. We literally should.
All right, so I'm also going to add another question. Who's on the hot seat?
Well, I mean,
From
we
a
have to say that?
quarterback standpoint,
quarterback standpoint, okay.
Carson, Wentz is.
Wentz is.
Cousins.
Well, Wentz, can you
Cousins.
say that Wentz is on the hot seat, then you're going to get benched?
No. Wentz? No. They've been talking about, because his backup is Jalen Hurts. He hasn't played yet.
And then I think
me up.
the Darnold experiment's over.
Well, Adam Gase, the fact that I am a true believer in thinking long term. So, as a diehard Jets fan, I think that they should sign Adam Gase to a 10-year extension.
Okay, so
Yeah, he
this
is-
is coming from a Bills fan who wants to continue to run over them.
Yeah, he is not.
He's one of the worst coaches I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's not gonna. If he makes it past the next game,
He
then
should
he's-
be fired today.
Then he's got dirt on the owner.
Yeah.
I mean,
You want to know You want to know a hot take? I still don't think Baker Mayfield finishes the season as the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
well, I don't think that's.
He's so average.
Yeah.
Which is so disappointing because I really like Baker, but he's just so average.
Now, I did forget about Atlanta.
Are they 0-3?
Yeah, I think they are.
Well, they were beating the Bears. They blew the game. They were beating the Cowboys. They blew that game. I think Dan Quinn gets fired, but I don't think they're as bad as an 0-3 team.
I don't see Matt Ryan on the hot seat.
Because when you look at it, they
Dan Quinn, the coach, he'll be fired.
He started the season on the hot seat.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got, and the funny thing is that they both have great, Watson and Ryan have great quarterback ratings for.
They've been playing.
Crappy team.
Matt Ryan's been playing great. It's not. Matt Ryan's been playing very good, actually. He's been playing, but it's just you can't blow.
I'm going to give you the marker for the bottom three because it's over on that side.
Okay. All right.
So your bottom three?
My bottom three. Well, first of all, the Jets.
I would say the Jets as well.
So the Jets are the worst team. Wow, this is.
They are scoring 12 points a game.
This is difficult.
I can't wait till we get the teams before
This is difficult.
We're gonna have
Jets.
okay. What else you got for us?
I think in number 2 on the worst teams in the NFL right now, I'm going to actually put the Eagles on there.
As number 2?
It's number 2.
Number 2.
Wow.
Because I don't know. I think the Giants are number 2.
That's my number 3.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
I got Jets, Eagles, Giants in that order.
And what about Denver? Where are you going to put? I mean, where are you going to bring Denver in on that?
Denver stinks.
They're terrible.
Denver stinks.
Just because they have a win.
I mean, they're horrible.
They're a bad football team.
What about Jacksonville?
They're horrible too. But when I look at it, at the end of the day, for me is can you score? Can your offense score points? If you don't have an offense that can score points,
They scored 30-something points last night.
Denver averages 15.
Yeah. Mark Ripp, but no.
They are
Mark
starting
Rippon.
Mark Rippon's cousin.
Yeah,
or
nephew. That he was, man. Giants, though. Giants.
Because I have Jets, Giants, and Denver.
Giants aren't going to win many
Jets,
games.
Giants, Denver. Yeah, I get that.
But I mean, if you want to I don't mind throwing the Eagles in.
Mine's Jets, Eagles, Giants.
I think, Giants.
Denver's got to be on there. Denver's got to be on there, up there.
I mean, if we want to put an asterisk for the, we'll see what happens with them next week. I'm going to surprise you on my guess for the top. Okay, and I'm not going to write it down until we can agree. I'm putting Indy in.
The Colts?
Yeah.
Really?
Indianapolis is playing some good. Phillip Rivers is playing good. They're playing.
So who are you going to put Indianapolis over?
I'm saying
everybody?
No. I'm
Oh,
saying in my top 3.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Baltimore, Green Bay, and Indy.
Baltimore got manhandled.
Baltimore's not on my top 3.
Baltimore's not. Baltimore will be, I think, eventually, but not right now.
Okay.
I think that my number 1 is Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Okay.
I mean,
Bandwagon.
unbelievable.
Bandwagon.
Yeah, number 1's Kansas City.
Yeah,
bandwagon.
Bandwagon. I'm not saying I'm cheering for them.
I'm just saying bandwagon.
But they're
Bandwagon.
Number
a
2.
3-0 returning Super Bowl champion that just beat, in your opinion, the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
How can you not be the best team in the NFL?
So my number 2 is Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is
Green Bay.
playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
Number 3 is where things get interesting.
Well,
See,
I think Green Bay. I think Aaron Rodgers is playing screw you football.
yes.
And God love him for it.
Yeah.
My top 3 in order would be the Packers are not on mine.
Really? Okay.
My Chiefs, Seahawks. You want to talk about somebody playing out of their mind?
That's going to be my 3rd.
The Seahawks.
Yeah.
Seahawks.
All right,
Russell
so-
Wilson. My
All right,
goodness.
so you guys both have.
And
KC.
right now, guys, I have to say this, and Robbie, you're gonna hate me saying this. You're gonna hate me saying this.
Do it.
The 3rd best team in the NFL right now are the Buffalo Bills.
I knew he was going to say it.
How can you not be? Josh Allen right now is playing MVP caliber football, and it is not me.
He
saying
said it,
this
not
out of a
me.
bias.
He said it, not me.
Okay, before we get back to this, so your top 3 were KC, Green Bay.
No, it wasn't mine.
KC,
Mine is KC, Green Bay, Seattle.
Seattle. And you are
KC, Seattle, Buffalo. If it helps when ranking them, Green
Okay.
Bay was number 4 for me.
Okay.
So you
I don't understand this at all.
Wait a second.
Better than this.
Wait a second. Wait.
I think by the time the season's over.
Well, no, right now.
We have to go right
Oh,
now.
you just want to go right now?
I think
Right
who
now.
do you think is
Yeah,
good?
this
And you
is
can put
changing.
2 and 1 or 1 and 2 teams up here.
Okay. Well, if you had to tell me, okay, then I would tell you it's Seattle.
Wait. So you don't have the Chiefs on at all?
I don't have the Chiefs on. I'm not feeling it.
I've been trying
Let
to find
the viewers. Tim does not think that the Kansas City Chiefs are a top 3 team
I
in
don't.
the NFL.
You asked me. I asked and answered.
But Kansas City just blew out Baltimore.
I still think Baltimore's a good team.
Better.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I'm trying to keep the Baltimore market first.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what you're trying to do. No one in Kansas City watches this show, and I'm trying to keep the Baltimore market, and you keep trying to do this to me. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay,
And-
can I just throw out? I have to argue with you about this Indianapolis thing. Even though you can change it all you want, but honestly, I'm not even seeing the Colts right now being a top 10 football team. in the
Well,
NFL.
I'll tell you what. They'll make the playoffs. They'll do well in the playoffs.
What's the division look like? That Titans.
Tennessee, Houston, and Jacksonville. But remember, the NFL
Yeah, I don't know if
has
they will.
seven teams now.
That's
Remember?
right.
Yeah, they added
expand.
one
They
extra.
expand. But I mean, you got to look at their schedule so far. You could actually make an argument right now that the Indianapolis Colts have the weakest schedule
Yeah.
in all of football, and they're still 2 and 1.
We'll see.
We got wins against the Jets, win against the who else did they beat? It's not impressive.
Who did they
Vikings.
lose to?
They lost to the Jaguars.
Not a good. Not good.
We'll see what happens. At least we can agree on one thing. The Jets suck.
Oh yeah, the Jets are a bad football team. Jets are in shambles right now.
If anyone said other than the Jets, so they're the worst team in the league, I would be mad.
And we will get this cleaned up for you next week, and we'll have it a little
But
bit better.
we'll leave it that way. We'll see.
But we'll have our telestrator. We'll make it look that way. But you heard it here. If you want to put your bets on, Houston, we got a Houston bet that they will make the playoffs. Chicago will not. So there you go.
I think Houston wins the division.
Houston went.
I
There you go. By the way,
think
agree with
Houston
that.
wins the division.
if you bet on these things because of ours, understand the show is severe lack of talent. Bet at your own risk.
And also, Chicago plays in a great division. I mean, so they're not going to win their division. What are they going to overcome? Green Bay?
I don't know. I mean, we're still forgetting the number one, the great equalizer. We brought up today, the COVID.
Well, of course.
So-
Of course.
All right, everybody. It's been severe lack of talent. I am Tim Pohanka.
Robbie Perry?
Nick Hall.
Devlin Riley will be joining us again next week. We had her goats and scapes. We didn't get to them because what we did. They'll be available for us online. Please like us on Facebook. Our website is getting ready to come up. Be sure you watch for Devlin Scapes and Goats. Thank you very much.
Toodles.
Deuces.
Toodles. Thank you for listening.
Also,
Severe
I
Lack
can
of Talent
see
is
it.
a weekly show.
Houston,
with
yes.
episodes
now I know.
arriving
I
every Friday.
think they win the division.
This podcast is a Fredericksburg Strong original production, hosted by Tim Pohanka, Nick Hall, Robbie Perry, and Devlin Riley. This podcast and all other Fredericksburg Strong podcasts can be found free on our Facebook page, Spotify, Apple iTunes, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Look for our special slot trivia challenge shows. And if you're a fan of the show, you can like us on Twitter @MoreGoatBell or @Severe Lack of Talent on Facebook. Severe Lack of Talent is produced and edited by Shandell Arana. It's executive produced by Tim Pohanka and is recorded at the Pohanka Podcast Studio in Fredericksburg.